it has to turn around. So even with him trying to do and putting down his laws and his plan, even
Right.
with him trying to do that, we still want to be. The post office it's just too many competent people in the postal service that were not allowed the mail system to fail. They're not built that way. I mean, from the lowest worker up. I mean, from the clerk, from the mailman, they understand that this mail is critical to get out. So they're not going to leave it. They're not going to let it sit in the standstill status or keep constant roll over. They're not going to do that. They're not going to sacrifice that political mail because they understand that this mail is critical. I mean, he would literally have to be in every facility telling them don't process this mail. Now, when they talk about taking machines out, they've been doing that. They have been doing that. When it comes to they take so many machines out of a facility, they already know they're going to process it. They got 16 machines they're going to run. DBCS they're going to run. That's what they're going to process their mail out to deliver. And they say, okay, well, we got too many machines. We're going to take 8 of them away from it. All they're doing is doubling up the zones on different machines. So don't let these fear tactics say, I mean, they had enough machines. They had too many machines that didn't have enough volume to sustain to say, okay, we need this machine. So that's why they say, okay, well, we can, instead of having 16, we're going to cut it down to 12. We're going to cut it down to 10 because we don't have enough volume going through them to say we need the machine. These machines process 30,000+ pieces an hour on throughputs. So they base the amount of machines you have in a facility on a volume of mail that you have within the city or that you process. So
Okay. So let me ask you this too. So say just for instance, some mail did get out late. Now I know you said you got to get priority, but say it did come after the date, right? Well, I guess you wouldn't know that part because I'm thinking if something is mailed out on a certain date or it goes out on a certain date, even if it comes after the deadline, but if it's through the fault of the post office, I'm just thinking, would it still count toward whatever it is? You understand what I'm saying? Like,
well, it's a certain cutoff that you have. Political mail comes into the building in a certain way, in a certain manner.
Right.
So after a certain time, if it's 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock, is a cutoff that we have the obligation of processing that political mail at that time, then that's what they're going to do. But 9 times out of 10 in the facilities I've been in, when we see that tag, that's automatic. We go and process that.
Right.
We don't care if it came. I'm in New Orleans. We don't care if it came from Mississippi. We don't care if it came from California, whatever. When it comes in the building, we're trying to process it because we don't want that mail to sit within the facility, especially ballots. We're accountable for that because they have walkthroughs in the morning, and then when they walk through and they see that type of mail, they're like, well, why this mail didn't get out last night? Because that's critical. That's critical to the public and to the government because we need to have this mail moved. So the post office been processing ballots, absentee ballots for years. This ain't nothing new. Just because this man come in and he wants to challenge it, say, well, the post office ain't competent enough to get the mail out. I guarantee every day you walk to your mailbox, you got mail in it.
Well, I don't know because I'm gonna tell you. I don't know if it's because of. I don't know what it's because of, but actually, mail is. I ordered a couple of things from Amazon, and each package, in the beginning when I tracked it, it said, okay, it's been shipped out, and it's scheduled to be here on this date, right? But then on that date, I check again. It's not. I know it's not there by a certain time because I would get a text message or something to say, hey, your package was left, on the porch or whatever. The what it's saying the last few days is, it's been delayed. It's gonna be there maybe Monday or something. If it was supposed to be there today or tomorrow, perhaps. But it's happened quite a few times.
Now we talking about packages. Now we ain't talking about mail. Talking about packages.
Well, even mail too. My mail is not, because I normally have a letter or two in there of some type every day. But
see,
for the past few days, nothing's really been in there.
Well,
and like I said, I don't know if it's because of maybe I just ain't getting no mail like that. I don't know. But
no, and you probably in a delay, and you probably, I'm telling you, I walked out to my mailbox and I could tell a couple of things that tell me about what happened in the plant the night before. The first thing that I noticed, if my mailman come after a certain time, I already know his truck came late. If he ain't here at a certain time, if a mailman normally come at 12 o'clock and he ain't there till 1, you already know he can't. Their mail got put in came to this station late.
Right. And I know a few people. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Or
go ahead. If you look in your mailbox, you look at the postage days on some of your mail, and you say, well, this is mail 5 days ago, and it just came from 10 blocks away, less than a mile away. You already know. You know the process, and what he did when Donald Trump's Postmaster General was put in place. His first thing was he said that we would have a cutoff time. There would be no mail ran after that time. I don't want no late trips, and I'm not paying for no extra trips. So that's why mail that normally have 2-day service, or what we call it, within the same area that you're in, 1 or 2 day service, overnight service.
Right.
But they actually don't even have they changed that years ago. They don't really have an overnight. They try to, but they don't have. But 2-day service became non-existent because he would not allow them to have. If they're running late, they got to send what they have available, and they push the mail to the side and they run it the next day. That is not what mail processing is about. Mail processing is to get every piece out that's available to the customer the next day, as soon as possible. That's what mail processing is about.
Right. And a few people, they ordered my book, right? But they don't understand that I'm not the person who mails the book out. It's printed at a facility. When when they order it, the book is printed. I didn't just order like a book. I have a bulk book for me that I kept. But they went through Amazon or wherever, and they ordered the book, and they say, hey, my book's supposed to get here on this day. And I said, well, okay, well, actually, the release date is the 22nd for the ebook, but I think the paperback, they could order it prior to that, right? So they said my book was supposed to be here, and I haven't gotten it yet. They say, but it says it's in Mobile, which Mobile, of course, is only like 30 minutes away from Pensacola. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But, I said, well, I mean, it's coming, I guess, but it's print on demand. Who knows? And it could be Amazon. If you ordered it through them,
right,
it could be them.
But see, even when they do that, well, when you order stuff through Amazon don't deliver to the postal service, except for we do handle certain mail for Amazon. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But that's why you see postal trucks over Sunday. Post office never delivered on Sundays. That was the off day. When they delivering on Sunday, they delivering packages. They're not delivering mail.
Right.
They delivering packages, and that's for Amazon. That is Amazon mail strictly. They're not delivering mail on Sunday. That's Amazon stuff. So when you're doing your tracking to whatever, if it's the post office, FedEx, UPS, whoever it's going to be, then you can follow the mail to a certain extent. But how many times you've tracked mail? Because post office at one time never did do tracking. They've gotten in the business of doing tracking because that's how we compete with FedEx. That's how we compete with UPS because you can track your packages through them. The post office didn't do that. The post office business was delivering mail. So when you go to your mailbox and you got anything in your mailbox that came from FedEx or UPS, that is a federal offense. They're not even supposed to put nothing in your mailbox.
Oh, wow.
Only person supposed to put something in your mailbox is somebody wearing a United States Postal Service badge, that carrier. But anything from Amazon, delivered by Amazon Prime, FedEx, or UPS shouldn't be in your mailbox. That's why they
never. I know they never put anything in my mailbox. They normally put it on the porch. You leave it behind. They'll leave it at a certain spot on the porch or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But not directly. They don't leave anything directly in the mailbox.
No. And but I've got packages. I've gotten packages put in my mailbox that from a Prime that was delivered by Amazon Prime in my mailbox,
okay.
And they know good and well they're hired people. They may not know all the laws, federal laws, and all that, and they may not be trained. But their packages go at your front doorstep. They don't go in your mailbox.
Right. Well, let me ask you this also. I was just gonna say, with the removal of the mailboxes off the street, and is that legal? Like what was the purpose behind removing the mailboxes off the street? Now, I can understand whatever the sorting machines inside the facility, that's one thing, but removing mailboxes off the street, I didn't quite understand the purpose.
Well, to me, that's to deter people from or have people not have access to for mail to be picked up, because those blue boxes, what we call them blue boys, are there, and they have a driver that comes and he picks mail up every day from that box by a certain time, and he got to scan that box and everything, all the mail that comes out of it. So when they took away those blue boxes, that was to deter the person that can't get to the post office to deliver that mail.
Isn't that illegal? I mean, is that in some way illegal?
I would call that delaying the mail. I would say that's a federal offense. It's willfully delaying the mail, because those blue boxes have been put there for the sole purpose of people being able to go drop mail there, so the mail can make it to be delivered to or picked up and processed. So when you cut blue boxes out, why would you do that when you have a populated area? Why would you take a blue box out of an area that's populated in a community? Unless you
and then some of them Go ahead.
No, unless it's somewhere in an area that they ain't getting a lot of mail put in the box or something like that. But why would you do that? What would be the purpose to take those boxes out? Matter of fact, how would a man know that he ain't never had no days and don't know nothing about the Postal Service? How would he know that we need to remove boxes? How would he know we need to remove letter processing machines out of facilities? How would he know that? Who's telling them we need to do this?
Well, who's telling them. Hey, his homeboy telling him.
That's why I say, well, with the thing with the removal of the machines, they had already did an evaluation on that facility, and they say, you know what, we don't need 16 or 20 machines, we need 11. And we can process all the mail with those 11 and still get the mail on time. See, that was already in place. But see, they run with things. They The post office is gonna make they have to cut. They're gonna cut back on some things, and you have implant support, or what they call it, implant support. They talk about, they look at these things and say, you know what, well, we don't need all these machines to run this mail, because we ain't got enough mail volume going through this machine. So let's consolidate it. Let's put 2-3 zones on this machine. We get the volume to the machine. We can justify why we ran this machine and got the volume and all that.
Mm.